So what do you do when you already have the best 200cc motorcycle in your fleet, but you want to add more features, want to offer more value for the money that you're asking and get people excited for it once again? Well, that's the situation TVS found themselves in with this motorcycle. However, they still went ahead and they have given big changes to this motorcycle, which is called, wait for it, the 2021 TVS Apache RTR 200 4V PS6 dual channel ABS variant, and now it gets riding modes as well. However, there are some other changes too, so today we're going to take a closer look at what those changes are and whether that changes the experience of the Apache 200 that we all know and love. Let's start with the changes that the motorcycle has aesthetically, and well, it doesn't have any, except for the fact that it now gets this new blue color variant, which frankly looks fantastic. Let's talk about the mechanical bit. Well, the engine is identical as before. It's now BS6 emission norm compliant as it were before as well, but now it makes slightly more power and torque. And other than that, the other changes that come in this motorcycle are basically down to 3 big changes. Let's get to them one by one. First and foremost is the fact that now you get adjustable levers. That is for both the clutch lever as well as the brake lever. Now what this does is that it helps you adjust the span of the lever so you can access it with more comfort. So not only does that make the riding experience easier, but that also makes it safer because in case of a panic situation, the levers are right there in your reach. Now let's come to the second big change that this motorcycle has, which are the riding modes. Now there are 3 riding modes on offer: rain, urban and sport. Now these go hand in hand and change the ECU and the ABS settings to give you different riding experiences. Let's start with the ABS settings. Now there are 3 stages. You start with the rain mode, which is the most intrusive ABS setting, also the safest. Then you have the urban mode, which is the middle level ABS intrusion setting. And then you have the sport mode, which is the least intrusive ABS setting, which helps you go all out with the braking performance. Now let's talk about the engine power delivery modes. Now there are basically 2. Your rain and urban mode gets slightly less power and torque, and your sport mode gives you the maximum power and torque that this engine can make. And that brings us to the third and the biggest change that this motorcycle has, which is this adjustable front suspension by Showa. Now, what the suspension lets you adjust is basically preload, and that basically opens a whole new motorcycling experience, and that is something that I really want to talk about. You see, often I will be the one telling you how the riding experience of the motorcycle is, but in this case, it's perfect because however tall or short you might be, or however heavy or light you might be, you can actually change the preload settings of the front suspension, and the rear suspension, the rear monoshock unit, was already preload adjustable from the previous models. So basically, you can set the entire preload setting of this motorcycle, have the suspension as per your liking, and hence have a perfect riding experience. Now the entirely different motorcycling experience that I was talking about, well, that basically is the fact that you can fiddle around with the suspension, and if you are an automotive enthusiast like I am, well, that's an absolutely fantastic thing to do, and sometimes a little bit scary too because, well, you don't know what you're doing. So there's a bit of a learning curve. You have to read the owner's manual carefully, and once you get the hang of it, it's actually a very rewarding experience. Now you also have to remember that other than these 3 big features that the Apache 2021 model gets, it has always been already loaded to the brim with features. You see, the 200 gets things like a digital instrument cluster, it gets Bluetooth connectivity, dual channel ABS, LED headlamps, LED tail lamps, slipper clutch, and fantastic TVS Euro grip tires, which I cannot praise enough, a very capable chassis, and a riding experience unlike any other product in this segment. And you get all of these new things along with already good stuff that the Apache 200 had for a price hike. How much, you ask? Well, for an additional 1,000 rupees. How TVS has managed to cram all of it in that price bracket is beyond me, but they have done it, and that's a very big achievement. So to sum it all up, the TVS Apache 200 was always our favorite 200cc street naked motorcycle that you could buy, but now it's just become way better value for money than ever before. Additionally, you get to experience things like adjusting suspension settings and having a different riding experience and learning new stuff, and that is something that only this motorcycle offers in this price tag. This experience usually costs a lot more money if you want to have it on 2 wheels in India. Having said that, if you're wondering whether you should go for it or not, well, totally go for it. It's highly recommended from our side.